Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a homeschool curriculum video for my 11th grader. He will be a junior this year. It's crazy to believe that. And this is going to be a little different probably than what you typically see on a curriculum haul. If you have not been around here long, I am Shannon. My name is Shannon and I am a mother of 8 kids. My oldest daughter is graduated and married, and then I've got 7 kids at home. This coming school year I will have an 11th grader, 9th grade, 7th grade, 6th grade, 5th grade, 3rd grade, and 1st grade. So we've got everybody in school this year, homeschooling 7 kids all at once, and for some reason this school year I've had a difficult time getting my brain wrapped around how to do this. For so long, our family has done a lot of things family style learning. We do our science together, we do our history together. And so our language arts has kind of mixed into that with doing a lot of notebooking and copy work. And so this year, having so many kids in school and them all getting older, needing to be more independent, I've had a difficult time figuring out what we are going to study for school this year. We also have been part of a co-op for the last 2 years, and that has been something new for us. We've never been in a co-op that meets weekly like we have for the last couple years, and while it has been a blessing, it also has been a challenge for me in figuring out how to school people and take time to help everybody that needs help with their schoolwork. We do plan to be part of that co-op next year, and they have classes from kindergarten all the way up through high school, but both of my boys in high school will not be taking any of the classes at co-op. I've just decided that they are not a good fit for us and not something that I want to take part of, and that's totally fine. My other kids are still going to go and they will have classes there, but we're not going to do any co-op classes. Another thing with my son that we have talked to him about is him graduating early. He is not a school guy. He doesn't really enjoy school, and he likes to do other things with his time. He is more concerned about building businesses and making money than sitting reading books all day. So we've had a lot of discussion with him. My husband and I have talked about what we want him to complete before he is able to graduate early, when we would let him graduate early, and we've made a list of things for him. So I'm going to share this list with you. This list is for his 11th grade year and then probably half of his senior year, unless he can complete it all this coming year. He plans to graduate in December of his senior year, so he will turn 18 just after he graduates. We just thought that we would come up with it would be best if we come up with some requirements for him before he is able to graduate early and some things that we want him to complete. So I'm going to share those with you today. Like I said, this is not a typical high school curriculum video. This may be something you would never do with your kids. It may be something that you find interesting and may be a blessing for your homeschool to just kind of piece things together like this. But as my kids, my daughter was easy. She loved school. She would do all the things. She wanted to learn everything. She liked to read. She enjoyed doing the work of school. So I just let her pick what she wanted to do, and she completed it all. And she actually did graduate early. She graduated December of her senior year. I feel like with boys it's a bit different, especially in our situation. Our oldest daughter knew she was going to get married, knew she was not going to go to college, knew she would have a husband to provide and take care of her. And with boys are a bit different. Now my oldest son does not plan to go to college. I don't know if he ever will. We could have said that about my husband, and yet here we are with him full-time in seminary in our 40s. But right now he has no plans to go to college. He just wants to go to work, building businesses, being an entrepreneur, which I think is fantastic. So I'm going to let him do that as much as possible. But he also someday, Lord willing, will have a family to take care of, a wife to take care of, and then eventually, hopefully, children to provide for and take care of and lead in his home. And so we have thought through what kind of things does he need to be able to do that well. And as we were thinking through that, subjects like history and science kind of take a back seat compared to character building and godly leadership and being able to lead well and knowing how to manage your money well and learning about the church and how God built his church and what he intends for his church. all of those things have become more important as we're seeing our son, who was a boy, our little tiny peanut, grow into this young man, eventually to a husband and a father, and what characteristics, what character qualities and skills we want him to have to be able to do that. So I think that he has, even with his dyslexia and his difficulty with reading and spelling and writing, he has learned very well to teach himself whatever it is that he wants to know. There are an abundance of resources nowadays that he can find out anything he wants to know about. If he doesn't know how to do something, he can go online and be able to figure that out. And so I'm not worried about him not being able to get a job. He already has a job. He works hard. When we give him jobs here at the house, he does them joyfully without grumbling. And so I'm not worried about him finding work. I want to take these last year and a half that we have with him and really build on his knowledge of God's Word, of the Bible, of the church, of who God is, build his leadership skills, build his money management skills, those kind of things. So that is what we are focusing on with this curriculum. Really going through this with him has made me consider, what is it I really want my children to study in high school before they can graduate? In reality, those are the things that are most important, because those are the things that are going to help them in their real life. And I don't think my son sitting with books for 6 to 8 hours a day is going to be real life for him. There's no way he would do that in real life. I'm not going to make him do that in school, because that's not learning real life skills. Now, there are things he needs to learn from books, and we've got a stack of them here that he does have to go through. But this is it. When he finishes this work, he can graduate. He will be done with his school, and he can just work full time. So let me get into this. I'm going to start with Daddy Literature, is what we call it. My daughter did this as well. Her books looked a little bit different. This is my husband thinking through each individual child and giving them a stack of books that they need to read that will benefit them in their Christian walk. It will benefit them in their life skills. It will benefit them in their marriage and in their family and in their friendships and in their leadership and all of those things. And so for my son, he's picked out some books here. And what is required of him is to read through these books. While he's reading them, he can take notes or highlight things. Once he is finished, he needs to write a 1-page, double-spaced, 12-point font paper for us on the computer about what he learned or what are the main points of the book. It's not hard, a lot of reading, but most of these are available on audio so he can listen and follow along. But this also gives us an opportunity to help him with his writing skills, which is something that he really has struggled with. And so having these short little essays to write on these books will be beneficial for him. So this counts as his language arts. It counts as literature because he is reading through all these books. First one is The Discipline of Spiritual Discernment. And these will be read in order that I show them to you. The next one is Doing God's Business God's Way, A Biblical Theology of Ministry. The next one is World Religions in a Nutshell. This is by Ray Comfort. My daughter did a curriculum similar to this from Master Books. I think it's, I don't remember what it's called exactly. Much more in-depth. It's like 3 giant books, and she read through them and enjoyed them, but there's no way my son will do that. So we've got World Religions in a Nutshell for him, just to give him some information on different religions. Workers for Your Joy. This is The Call of Christ on Christian Leaders. A man is a leader anywhere he goes. It doesn't matter, a Christian man, if he is in the church or if he is in his home, if he is in his workplace, he needs to know how to lead well. So we've got a few books on leadership here. No Shortcut to Success, a Manifesto for Modern Missions. 5 Points by John Piper towards a deeper experience of God's grace. The Shepherd Leader at Home by Timothy Whitmer. And the last one is Courageous Churchmen, Leaders Compelling Enough to Follow by Jerry Ragg. A few of these books are books that my husband has read for school that he really, really enjoyed. Other ones he's just read and really enjoyed them and thinks they will benefit my son tremendously. So this is his stack of daddy literature that he's going to read through. It's not too many books. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 books. And he's got a year and a half to do them. So he should be able to get that done. Next, he's going to work his way through the Dave Ramsey Foundations in Personal Finance Homeschool, High School Homeschool Edition. This is a set of DVDs and there is one lesson per chapter. So he'll watch the lesson that goes with the chapter, and then he will read through the information in the book. This is a workbook, and my oldest daughter did this course. She wrote in it with pencil. I'm not going to take the time to erase all the answers. From what I've been reading, they're very simple, so I'm just going to let him read through this book with the answers in it and glean what he can from that. The next one is his history. I love to learn history. I think it's so interesting. My oldest daughter is the same way. She loves history. My oldest son really doesn't care too much. So I have decided that when they get into high school, they need to at least have American history, world history, and then church history. Those are the 3 histories I would like them to learn. If they're only doing 3 years of history, those are the 3 years they need to do. He has done American history, he has done world history, and so now we're moving on to church history. So he's going to use How Jesus Built His Church, a survey of church history. This is from Generations. So we've got the text. I also have this on audio, which is why I chose this, because it comes with the audio version available. And then I've got the workbook that I printed. I got the PDF version of the workbook. I printed out 1 week at a time. Well, I printed out the whole thing. I stapled them 1 week at a time into workbook pages. And then he's got the schedule here. This is the first 4 weeks when he completes this. In my file folder box there on the floor, I'm organizing everyone's curriculum. We're trying something new this year. We're doing week by week packets of school pages so that I can keep up with grading things. When he finishes 1 week, he will turn it into me and I will grade it just to see where he's at with this curriculum. So along with this, because it is a little bit of a lower level, but it's things that he has not learned, so he will learn a ton from this. How Jesus Built His Church. Along with that, he'll be watching these 2 DVDs, which are called On the Shoulders of Giants. This is from Wretched Radio, and this is just 2 DVDs on church history. So he'll watch through those. And then he also will, let me find it on my phone to show you, listen through Drive-By Church History. And this is also from Wretched Radio. And they are just quick little clips of church history information. They don't take long. They are around 15 minutes each. And I don't have a picture of it. Let me see if I can find a picture of it. Alright, so this is the Drive-By Church History. It's what it looks like. It's available on MP3. There are some guys on there that now have disqualified themselves from ministry, but it still is excellent information about church history, and so he's going to listen through that to complete his history for the year, his church history. So we've got On the Shoulders of Giants he needs to read through. He's going to listen through Drive-By Church History, and then he's going to complete How Jesus Built His Church, a survey of church history from Generations curriculum. Next thing he's going to do is he's also going to listen through Drive-By Discernment, another from Wretched Radio, and this is just 15-minute clips that he can listen to that will help him with his discerning skills. So he's going to listen through that. The next one is Biblical Manhood. This is from Wretched Radio as well. And just a DVD. He's going to watch that. And then he's going to watch through both of these sets here of DVDs. These are from Gospel Partner Media. This is Road Trip to Truth 1 and 2. I do have a workbook that goes with level 1. That is from Master Books. But I'm not going to have him do that. I just want him to watch these and soak in the information. So he's going to watch through both of those. And then the last thing he's got 2 more things besides that. The first one is his math. He needs to complete at least through 8th grade on CTC math. He's working on it. He's got behind when he was younger and it's taken a bit to catch up, but he is getting that done. And then the rest of his math is in practical math life skills, like budgeting his money, doing this homeschool Dave Ramsey Foundation's program, and running a business. He's learning how to do that, and that is taking a lot of his skills. He has done a financial literacy course before, but those kind of things will be beneficial for him in the future, more so than him learning algebra or anything else. If he was going to college and he needed those classes, he would take them, and if he decides to do that and he needs them, he'll have to figure that out. But right now, those are not practical for him, so he's not doing those. Dave Ramsey also has a Foundations in Entrepreneurship course. I am considering having him take that. It's pretty short, but I think it would be really helpful. It would probably teach him a lot of things he hasn't thought about with business side, financial side of business things. So I may have him do that as well. We'll see when he completes the Foundations Homeschool course first. I am working on editing this video, and I just realized that I missed 2 things that my son is going to be doing next year as well. So he will be working his way through Introduction to Logic. This is from Master Books, and my plan is to have him and my 9th grader do this together with me. And then I also printed off the workbook, but my plan with this is to do it orally. I want to read this book with them, and I want to discuss these questions with them, because I know there are going to be a lot of hard words in this book, and I want them to get as much out of it as they possibly can. So this is something that we will be doing together. And then the other thing we're doing together is the Foundations in Faith. We started this last year or even the year before, have never actually finished it, but I'm going to use it as part of like our morning basket with all of my kids together, and I'm going to have my big boys sit in on that. This is Foundations in Faith. It is by Israel Wayne from Master Books. So we will be going through that also in part of our morning basket, which my 11th grader will be sitting in on. And then the last thing is that by the end of next summer, we had planned for him to complete all of this work by then. And by then, he also needs to have a full-time job. And we want to see him work a full-time job for those last 6 months before we let him graduate. I think that is just to get him into the habit of daily going to work and being diligent and disciplined in doing that, and showing us that he can provide and take care of himself and eventually his family by being disciplined and getting that full-time job. He does have a part-time job right now that he goes every time he's told, and every time he's scheduled, and they're training him now for even more work, so that has been a blessing. That is his list of things to do before he graduates. Like I said, when kids are in elementary school, which I have a lot of them there right now, I was so worried about I wasn't doing enough, they weren't learning enough, they didn't get enough history, what should we do for history, what should we study for science, all of these things. Now that my kids are getting older and I'm thinking about them graduating and going out on their own and eventually providing for a family, those are things you think about when they're little, but it doesn't become reality until it's happening. And you realize that a lot of those things you worried about are not the important things. So it's really making me even rethink what I'm teaching to my younger kids and what we're studying and what we're spending our time on. Be on the lookout for my other curriculum videos. They will be coming out soon. But I hope you enjoyed seeing what we are going to do for the rest of my 11th graders' high school years. If you have any comments or questions, leave them down below. And I will see you on the next video. Bye-bye.